So this video is all about when service dogs retire. Question number 1. What are the various reasons that a service dog might retire? So age is the most well-known reason for service dog retirement, but there are a lot of other reasons. The other thing I want to mention is that a service dog does not have to retire when they are old. Some examples might be a service dog who was attacked by, say, a fake service dog and just traumatized to the point where they either became aggressive or fearful or were just injured to the point where they couldn't recover enough to do their job. There are a lot of reasons why a service dog might retire before elderly age, I guess you could say. I think that's the one that service dog handlers are typically most fearful of. Like humans, dogs can get sick as well. They can develop things such as cancer. They can get hip dysplasia, joint problems, eye problems, you name it, it can happen. Question number 2. What is the average age of retirement for a service animal? I can tell you that I haven't looked up the actual statistics, but like I stated in my previous answer to the first question, a good portion of it depends on what that particular dog's job is. For example, mobility dogs who perform bracing, counterbalance, momentum pulling are often going to retire at a younger age, partly because their bodies are just undergoing more wear and tear than, say, psychiatric service dogs, PTSD service dogs, seizure alert service dogs. But then you also have to think about the fact that the mobility dogs tend to be the larger breeds, and as most of you know, the larger the breed, typically the shorter the lifespan. It's just kind of how it works. So that's another big factor, is just the breed itself. A lot of the herding breeds like Bugsy, they tend to be prone to things like coli. And then, you have your German Shepherds and your Great Danes who are a lot more prone to things like hip dysplasia. There are so many factors, you can't really just say this is why all service dogs retire and this is how it happens. It ranges a lot. Question number 3. What happens to the service dog when he or she is retired? What happens? Where does the dog go? What does the dog do? I can tell you that most retired service animals end up living out the rest of their lives with their handlers, being totally pampered and waited on hand and foot. Most of them live a life of royalty in retirement. Some handlers do either choose to or are forced to give up their service animals after retirement. Most of us will never willingly part with our retired service animal because, say the dog literally just spent like 7 years of its life dedicating his or her life to making you able to live yours. It just doesn't seem right to stick the dog back in a shelter. A lot of disabled individuals are not able to, depending on their condition, you have limitations. We're not always able to care for multiple dogs, either physically or financially. And it's obviously very sad, but, you need to do the right thing. And if you can't care for the dog, you need to find a home where the dog can be cared for. I personally intend to retire Bugsy as luxuriously as possible, wait on him hand and foot, pamper the living crap out of him. But my backup plan, if, for example, I ever get in a situation financially or physically where I just can't care for multiple dogs, my backup plan is for him to come live with my parents. Worst case scenario, if I were to lose my parents or something, or they just weren't able to care for him either, he would go back to his breeder. And a lot of dogs who come from breeders also have that in their contract, that you can't put the dog in a shelter, even if it's like 10 years down the road. But that's the last thing I would ever do, and I hope it never comes to having to return him to the breeder either, but that is my backup plan, because I do know that if I can't care for him, I know she'll be able to give him a really nice retirement and give him everything that he needs. Question number 4. This is actually a really good question. At what point do you consider your service animal officially retired? And that's a good question because there are various degrees of retirement. There's the typical retirement in which the dog just stops working altogether, goes to being a regular pet. And then there's also sort of like a halfway phase in which the dog is considered to be an in-home service dog. And that is also what a lot of washed out service dogs will end up doing as well. Essentially, it's when the dog is still able to perform tasks that mitigate the handler's disability, but they're not capable of going out and doing public access work, meaning that they're not able to be a full working service dog in the sense that they can't go grocery shopping, they can't go to the movies with you and stuff, but they can still perform the tasks that help you in your home. A lot of washed out service dogs will end up doing this as well. Dogs that are intelligent enough to, you know, have a high enough work drive to be able to do the job, but for some reason can't work in public, either just because of health problems or aggression or fearfulness. There's a lot of factors, but that's a really good question because it's not just either working or retired. It's kind of like working, retired, and then like a whole wide range of the degree to which a dog can work. Question number 5. How do you know when it's really time to retire your service animal? Probably the best answer is that your dog will most likely let you know. Obviously, if the dog becomes sick or injured, you know, then definitely pull them from work. That's your job. But a lot of times in terms of just old age and when the dog is kind of, you know, slowing down, I think the dog will let you know. I'm sorry I couldn't be more helpful with that answer, but as most of you know, Bugsy is my first service dog, and he is nowhere near retirement age. Yeah, and thankfully has given me no reason to need to wash him out early. So that's the best answer I can give on that one. Question number 6. Is that 6? Yeah. 1, 2. Yeah, question number 6. What was question number 6? So there was a 6th question, and I can't remember what it was at all. So I guess I'll end the video here. I hope it helped a little. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask. Oh, and a while back, a lot of you had been asking to send us mail and things like that. I don't know if you've seen like 2 or 3 videos before this one. Bugsy and I set up our very own P.O. box, so you can now send us mail if you want to either share your story or ask us questions or send us vlog ideas, you know, whatever you would like. Feel free to send us mail. We would love to receive mail from you, and we are waiting in anticipation. One of our viewers actually had a really, really good idea. I forgot their username, so I can't credit them right now, I'm sorry. But if you send us a letter and you'd like us to reply back, just stick a stamp inside the envelope and Bugsy and I will write back to you. That's assuming we don't get like 5 million letters, but I doubt that's going to happen. So for now, just assume that we'll write back. Oh, and sorry, just one more thing. A lot of you have been asking if you could like send us stuff, and obviously I don't want to take your stuff. I don't want to take your money. But one thing I actually did think of that would be really nice for us to have if anyone wants to donate some of these to us is, you know those little cards? It's like just little wallet card thingies with like the ADA laws and the, you know, basic service animal information. But we have been going around to a lot of businesses lately, left and right pretty much, and we're educating and advocating all about service dogs. And we're handing them out to all the managers and anyone who's interested, and it's going really well. But the only downside is that we're going through them like crazy, and I can't afford to keep buying a brand new pack of them like every week. You know, if anyone would be interested in either making us some or sending us some, that would be greatly appreciated. But aside from that, we don't want to take anything from you guys. Like, just send us letters, send us, you know, your stories and photos and stuff. We'd love to get all that. But yeah, we don't need to get stuff from you guys. Don't worry about it. But for those who do want to give us something or would like to help contribute to what we're doing to help make a difference, that would be something that would be not only greatly appreciated, but would definitely be helpful in the long run. I'm not wearing pants right now. Huh. Okay. Well, have a great night.